Mark Hendricks and Marcia Coffey. Weekdays on Newsroom 6 at noon.
Mr. Rush Limbaugh. Thank you so much. Where's Chris? Do you still have a cigar? Bring me that cigar. Let me show what. I don't. Look, I'm not doing this. I do not want to encourage people who come here to watch the show in person to bring gifts. I'm not trying to. I just want to show you this, folks. Now that's a cigar. I mean, you can really smoke this thing. All you've got to do is clip it, and it's here. In fact. You non-smokers, try this. This will really scare you. Okay, here, take it back out of the way. Thanks very much. Well, we got a lot to do on our program tonight. Glad you've joined us. Let me get the. Here, take this out of the way too. Don't need the trash on the show. There's enough of that in the show. Because we're going to be talking about a number of exciting things. Look at this headline. I just ran across this. This is a headline in the New York Post today, which basically announces the decision in Puerto Rico to not become a state and to rather remain a commonwealth. Puerto Rico voters back the status quo, narrow thumbs down on statehood. Now, here in New York City, there's a tremendous Puerto Rican population, and so on the news at night, they have to do some things to play to that audience. And they sent a bunch of reporters, and I could not believe this last night. I'm watching a reporter actually intimate that there are Americans in the United States House of Representatives and in the Senate who are very happy about this because they don't want any more people of color as citizens of the United States. And why didn't he complain to his own people down there who voted statehood down to take this vote and then say, hey, there are people in the United States going, whew. There may be, but it's not because of the color of their skin. It's because, in fact, actually it would probably be better to have them as a state because then they would start paying taxes. I made a phone call right before the program began, my friends, and they already get Social Security, they get unemployment. Now, they're not on welfare rolls, but they do have access in Puerto Rico to a bunch of federal aid. And if they became a state, then those people would have to start paying taxes. And, of course, they voted that down. That's what they voted down. So the truth, once again, from this show. Let me show you this. This is the December issue of the Limbaugh letter. That is our new newsletter. You probably, thank you. I'll tell you why we did this. You remember that Time magazine cover story that came out not long ago featuring me? Our advance word was the story was going to be unflattering, and so we were preparing to deal with it and answer it by doing our own version of Time magazine. And this was the cover we made up to make me man of the age, it says down there, not just man of the year. Turned out the story was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. We decided to stick with the cover because it looks very good. And it's the December issue, which in essence is our Christmas issue. And the lead theme of this, I just wanted to tell you, because I don't know if there's an ad in tonight's show for the newsletter, but there will be in a couple of shows this week, if not tonight. And the theme is America Needs More God. It is a story that it's actually a commentary that I wrote detailing what the problems are with American societal decay. And as I've been warning you for the past couple of weeks now, the liberals are out there trying to claim that they have finally figured out what's wrong with America. The family is falling apart. We've been saying that here for years, 5 years plus on radio and so forth. And this was written way, way back in the middle of October in order to be in the December issue, and it's something I'm thrilled about. And this cover looks so good that we're gonna stick with these various different kinds of covers on the newsletter each each issue that comes out. So I just want to show you that. Finally, an update. You remember, I think it was our most recent show. Some of you saw the show on Friday, and others would have seen it on Monday. About Kurt Busboom, the senior at Lafayette, California High School near it's in the Bay Area, in Contra Costa County. If I would have not put that cigar in my mouth, I'm sure those syllables would just come flowing. Tobacco remnants, of course, are plugging various orifices here and getting in the way of tongue movement. Anyway, I wanted to come up with another way to illustrate a point here that's in fact based upon some of our societal decay. I want you to follow me along because, kids rebelled. I mean, there's no question about the fact that it's part of being a teenager, part of being a kid. At some point you grow up and you realize that your parents are idiots. Your parents don't know beans and you know everything, and so you got to get their attention. What in my mind, what a child or a teenager is doing with outrageous behavior is trying to get noticed and searching for parents to draw the boundary lines, the guardrails, if you will, so that you don't cross. Here's acceptable behavior, here's good, here's right, here's wrong, here's bad, here's evil, and all that. In our country today, though, look at what kids have to do to get noticed. Here are just some things that are going on out there that don't even arouse people's anger or attention anymore. First off, pot. Kid goes out and smokes pot and smokes marijuana. We don't. In fact, we have people trying to legalize it every day. Next, do a little acid. Hey, kids are going to be kids. I can't stop them from doing this stuff. Lighten up. Venereal disease. Hey, kids are going to have sex. You can't give them condoms. What's the kid supposed to think? Give a condom? Oh, you must want me to continue the activity is what they really know in their hearts. You get a brick, like the EI brick, and you go out and you bust somebody's head open with it. We don't care about that. In fact, when you use a brick to bust somebody's head open, you're not even responsible for it if you're doing it with a group of people. You see? That doesn't even get people's attention. And then, of course, if you want to burn down South Central Los Angeles or Anaheim or kill a cop, hey, we've got to understand your rage. And that doesn't even get people's attention. But how does a teenager rebel? If none of those things will work, what does a teenager do to rebel? How do you do something? What do you do to get the authority figures around you to stand up and say, no, you can't do that? You do what Kurt Busboom did. You start a Rush Limbaugh club in your high school. I mean, that's, audiences want to, should they... Now, that should prove to you that we do not have applause signs here. The audience is looking, is that an applause line? Should we clap? You should have seen them. They're all going, what do we do now? You're done good. You did the right thing. Seriously, this kid's in trouble. If this kid were smoking dope or throwing throwing a brick in somebody's head and beating it open, people would be, oh, isn't he? Maybe he was abused when he was a child. We have to. But he wants to start a Rush Limbaugh club, and all hell breaks. Why? We can't have that. Well, we are going to talk about Ed Rollins tonight and this whole situation in New Jersey. We've got some clips and some points need to be made about this. NAFTA a little bit tonight, some funny clips from Perot. Sleepless in Seattle. He took his tour to Seattle on Sunday. And if we have time... No laughter sign went up there, and I don't know what was funny. But Perot did. He took his Sleepless in Seattle tour out there, and it was a yawner for most of the NAFTA discussion. And if we have time, we'll get into Joseph Cardinal Bernardin and this sorry state of affairs that is going on with him. So you stay where you are. We'll come back and get as much of this as we can right after this.
Now you can receive free this up-close profile of Rush Limbaugh, the man most feared by the Clinton administration.
Suddenly this year, our readership has tripled. Why? Because American Spectator reveals never-before published information about AIDS and Magic Johnson, plus the truth about Anita Hill, Ted Kennedy, Oliver Stone, Jesse Jackson, and Hillary Clinton. At American Spectator, we tell our writers to dig deeper, get the inside facts, write the truth, and let the chips fall where they may. And here's the result. the hardest-hitting, wittiest magazine around.
The American Spectator cuts through the nonsense of news and world events to go right to what is really happening in the United States and around the world.
I subscribe to it, I read it, and I think it's one of the best magazines around.
To receive a trial subscription to American Spectator, call the toll-free number on the screen. Call now and we'll rush you our free profile on Rush Limbaugh, along with 12 issues of the American Spectator, the most fearless magazine in America.
For many of us in Clark County, the fall season is new car season. If you happen to be a member of Columbia Credit Union in Vancouver, all the better, because now that new vehicle you want can be yours with financing starting at a very attractive 5.9%. Up to 100% financing also available. Loans are approved fast, and with pre-approval, you save yourself both time and money when shopping for that new vehicle. 5.9% financing makes getting a new car a whole lot easier.
The world of Makita design. Innovating. Always a leader. So how do you make the best even better? Throw away the key. Makita. It's all the power you need. For a limited time, receive a free extra battery with your Makita purchase.
Hi, welcome back. All right, let's get straight into this business with Ed Rollins and the so-called suppression of the black vote in New Jersey during the election. Jim Flim Flam Florio and Christine Todd Whitman first. Now, here's audio of what Ed Rollins said. That's the first thing we'll show you.
We had a substantial amount of walking around money. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $500,000. And here's how we used it. We went into black churches and we basically said to ministers who would endorse Florio, if you have a special project. And I think to a certain extent we suppressed their vote.
That caused a firestorm of protests throughout the predictable quarters. The black community said, let's do away with the election. What they're really trying to do is take away her victory from her and try to say that this disqualifies the election. We've done some number checking, folks. We found out, and these are numbers that have appeared in the Wall Street Journal and a number of other places, that if the black vote were the sole source of victory for Florio, he would have needed another 40% black vote or black turnout, with all of it voting for him, if he was to emerge victorious. This is based on the number of votes cast, the number of votes he lost by, versus the percentage of the black vote registered that showed up. And I don't care what you think about this whole notion. There's very little likelihood that traveling around all these churches could suppress 40% of the black vote. Plus, I mean, and you've heard all this, I'm sure. Well, how can these guys be purchased so easily? And if this is true, if Ed Rollins, and he never said he did it, by the way, it's we. So if somebody's walking around the neighborhoods of New Jersey and flashing a little cash here and there, you got to think that if those guys had endorsed Florio, that one of them, just one, would have called the press and say, hey, guess what just happened to me? They're trying to buy me. They're trying to get me not to get people out to vote. But here's another thing to stop and think about, too. Is this a crime? Has a statute been violated? People have looked into this, and they can't find a statute that's been violated. Now, stop and think about this. You remember, especially those of you who live here in New York City or the surrounding environs, remember during the New York City school board elections recently? This was all about getting rid of the idiots on that board who wanted that Mommy Dearest or whatever it is, Heather Has Two Mommies curriculum. And guess who came to town? No, guess who came to town? Pat Robertson. Ooh, religious right. Oh, no. Put a spell on you. He rolls into town and he starts endorsing candidates. They can't do that. Separation of church and state, said the liberals in New York. Why, that's a crime. Well, is it a crime also for a liberal not to endorse a candidate? I mean, are they trying to say that if you get a preacher to not say something from the pulpit about a candidate, that a crime has been committed? No, my friends. And how did Rollins do this? I mean, there weren't any tanks in the street. I mean, there weren't any obstacles preventing blacks from going to the polls. Did you see any of that? You know, in New York, there used to be this scandal, this thing called Tropical Fantasy. It was a big 2-liter bottle of yellow soft drink. And I think it's still around. and it was selling for 79 cents, and as such, it was a major, major competitor to Coke and Pepsi and all the other major brands. And somebody floated a rumor that there was an ingredient in each bottle that when a black person drank it, it would make them sterile. You remember this? You remember this? And they were believing it. So you say, well, what's in it? How does this beverage, when it's inside a human body, know that it's inside the body of a minority? How does it know this? And how does it then know where to go to make it? Well, did they distribute bottles of Tropical Fantasy and change the ingredients so that it all of a sudden told minorities not to go out and vote for Jim Florida? I mean, this is absolutely asinine. Now, we have an apology also, I think, not an apology, but a clarification. Rollins later issued this statement. He said, my remarks left the impression of something that was not true and did not occur. I know that the Whitman campaign, which I managed, itself in no way sponsored, funded, or sanctioned improper voter turnout activities. I have no knowledge that the party or any other entity connected to the campaign did so. May I now show you Lani Guinier. Lani Guinier was on TV recently, and here's... No. Now, wait, I want to preface this. You're going to get mad, maybe. I want to preface it by telling you she's right. Knowing that, now watch this. Just take a look before you have a reaction.
And I agree with the Reverend Jackson that a thorough investigation is warranted, especially because this is not the first time that the Republican Party has been accused of very similar efforts to suppress the black vote and to discourage black voters from exercising their franchise, not just in 1981 in New Jersey, but also in 1986 in Louisiana, 1990 in North Carolina. So this, if true, is simply one of the more ingenious methods by the Republican Party to discourage blacks from voting.
I told you, she's right. We've got to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you, though, why she's right. I'm going to give you the other half of the story, and I will use assistance from syndicated columnist William Safire to do so. Don't go away.
For illiteracy. Learning to read should be simple. Phonics makes reading simple by teaching little sounds and syllables. I learned to read with phonics.
Learn to read with Hooked on Phonics, the musical reading program. Then, read to learn with SRA reading comprehension used by over 60 million people.
Hooked on Phonics works for me.
Call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Andy's After Dinner Candies. You know the ones. You've probably enjoyed them at one time or another in restaurants, airplanes, and hotels everywhere. So, since you've had Andy's here, why not have Andy's here? Or why not serve Andy's here? So, to have Andy's anytime or anywhere, just get Andy's here. Andy's After Dinner Candies. The perfect anytime, anywhere treat. Available at stores everywhere.
You took the paper out for recycling, didn't you? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
People in the Northwest recycle more than just about anyone else in the country. By doing that, you've helped conserve one of our most precious natural resources. And you've helped make Weyerhaeuser one of America's largest paper recyclers. We've recycled a lot already. And by 1996, we plan to do twice as much. So, thank you for your help. We know it isn't always easy.
You let the cat in, didn't you?
The cat. The cat.
Weyerhaeuser.
Thank you. You probably think that this is horrible. Why the vote would be influenced this way? Why, how could they? Why, this is not American, so forth and so on. My friends, let me tell you something. This whole business about can the black vote be bought and how insulting. When 90% of the black vote votes for the Democratic candidate in a presidential election every year, what do you think is going on? Now, let's go to William Safire's column today, November 15th. He quotes three different people in the realm of politics. Len Hall, chairman of the Nixon campaign, said, Joe Kennedy is pumping out the walking around money as I've never seen. We have to match him dollar for dollar. Cash in the hands of the Republican precinct captains, wherever we have any. And don't forget, we're not above putting a roof on the church. I'm going to explain that in just a minute. August 9th, 1976, Associated Press reported, the Jimmy Carter campaign gave donations to black ministers who supported him in the California primary and paid out other street money that was not properly accounted for. Charles Moore, the New York Times, the use of subcontractors or neighborhood leaders who are given walking around money is an established part of political life in some cities. Now, Ed Rollins says that he was just trying to play the game the way it's played in New Jersey. This business about putting a roof on the church, I'm going to let you in on a political secret neither party would like you to know. But when a black minister came to talk to either party and the election apparatus, campaign staff, when the words of, hey, you know, I need a new church on the roof, that was code for I'm here with my hand out and I'll do what you want me to do if the money's there. That's the way politics works. And so why so many people are distasteful, I'm not supporting it and I'm not condoning it, I'm not encouraging it, but this is nothing new. Let me tell you what the real mistake here that Ed Rollins made was. The Republican Party has had people like Jack Kemp running around to the ghettos of this country trying to convince blacks that the Democratic Party has failed them and the Republican Party should be their home. Prosperity, economic growth, and rugged individualism. What Ed Rollins should have said is, when talking to these people about how he engineered her victory, stop this business of suppressing the black vote, because that's not what won for her. What won was her message, lowering taxes, economic growth and prosperity. The Republican Party can't even get its own message straight, and they further alienated blacks when at a time that they're trying to extend a hand to say, come on in, we're a better location for you. That's the real sad thing that happened here. We've got more Mr. Perot. Words are precious, deeds are many when we get back, don't we?
Governor, are you prepared to take the constitutional oath?
I am.
Now, 8 of the most memorable years of American history are yours, captured for all time on video cassette. National Review brings you Ronald Reagan, an American President, a 1-hour video chronicle of the Reagan years. It's the story of one man's determination and leadership, of our nation's triumphs, tragedies, and return to greatness. The Reagan years, a time of explosive economic growth and greatness for America. This video will make you laugh, make you cry, make you proud.
I'd like my presidency to be remembered as the one that gave the government back to the people.
Call 1-800-532-9191 now and receive 21 issues of National Review for only $34.95. With your paid subscription, we'll rush you free and postpaid Ronald Reagan, an American President. Call 800-532-9191 now.
10 lanes and 4 speeds. It's Silver Collector Car Auction at the Portland Coliseum, Saturday and Sunday, November 20th and 21st.
94, now 95, 95.
200 collectible automobiles for sale at public auction, Saturday, November 20th and Sunday, November 21st at the Portland Memorial Coliseum. Doors open each day at 8 a.m. To buy or sell, use Silver Auctions.
100, yes!
Convertibles, sports cars, nostalgia cars, and more at public auction, November 20th and 21st. Silver Collector Car Auctions.
The 4 most common mistakes when buying a diamond. Mistake number 1, paying high retail prices. Mistake number 2, believing the myth of retail quality and value. Mistake number 3, not knowing what you're really buying. Mistake number 4, accepting the store's appraisal instead of one from an independent gem lab. Don't you make a mistake when buying your next diamond. And don't pay the high prices of a direct diamond importer. Come to All That Glitters and buy wholesale. Save 50 to 65% off your next diamond purchase. All That Glitters, your wholesale diamond dealer with 2 locations.
You're watching Horn TV, Channel 6.
Welcome back. In the interest of clarity, somebody in the break said, well, why was Lonnie Guinier right? And the answer is the Democrats have been doing this all along. They've been buying votes in any number of ways. It's called promising to increase and extend welfare benefits, doing this, that, and the other thing. And the Republicans simply had to go in and play the game by those rules. That's what roof on the church means. That's what the code word is. When anybody comes and says, you know, need a new roof on the church, the message is right there. That's it. Now let's go to Sleepless in Seattle. Ross Perot again on the anti-NAFTA bandwagon. A couple of cuts. Here's number one.
You're paying for the dinners, you're paying for the entertainment, you're paying to have your votes bought, and you're paying to have your job shipped south of the border. But we will stop that because 94 is coming, right?
Ooh, I'm scared. 94 is coming. Now, sounds like he's maybe already factoring in a potential defeat here if he's talking about retaliation in 94. We'll have to wait and see. Votes Wednesday. Here is another example of, I just told the staff, pick any, it doesn't matter what it is, just pick a clip from Perot at this thing, and you'll see the audience response is not very big at all. And here's what they've got. I haven't even seen this. Let's see what it is together.
Workers are still seething as their employers who talk of teamwork and loyalty and win-win strategies then cut them off at the knees for the sake of the bottom line and go to Mexico. And here's another Rhodes Scholar, a worker in Chicago. He said, I guess when you live up on the hill, you just don't see the people down in the valley. Well, the people down in the valley are going to be writing and calling, right?
Now, that just didn't sound overwhelmingly enthusiastic to me. I want to say one thing about jobs in the remaining seconds that we have. Perot or anybody else, the pro side, the anti side, are both saying that we're talking 200,000 jobs or 500,000 jobs gained or lost. This is not about jobs, folks, and that's over a 5-year period, by the way. In a normal United States economic cycle, 500,000 jobs are created and lost every 3 months. It's not a zero-sum game. What we're talking about is creating new customers, both here and in Mexico. This whole jobs, being frightened about losing your job is really a phony issue because we're not talking about that many. We have 119 million jobs in America. To lose 200,000 for 3 months is a natural thing. Out of time. We'll see you again for the next show.
Services provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
Now's your chance to make a statement about the Clinton administration. The Clinton Backwards Running Watch. All 3 hands run backwards. Call now, 1-800-50-WATCH.
Quit chewing tobacco with mint snuff, all mint chew. Mint snuff is made from mint, not tobacco. Ask for mint snuff at grocery and convenience stores.
Gravity Cologne for men. More than a fragrance, it's a force of nature. You couldn't resist it even if you tried.
If you'd like to order a video cassette of Rush's TV show for only $24.95, just call Video Archives at 1-800-FOR-VIDEO. For a transcript, send $5 to Burrell's, Box 7, Livingston, New Jersey, 07039. Or call 1-800-777-TEXT.
Since 1936, Baxter Auto Parts has kept the Northwest on the road. Today, each of our 6 locations stocks over 50,000 parts